Good morning, students. This is our third lecture of enzymes. I am Dr. V.M. Hardas. In this class, we will discuss about inhibition of the enzymes and regulation of enzyme activity. Enzyme inhibition can be discussed under following types. First is competitive inhibition, second non-competitive inhibition, then uncompetitive inhibition, suicide inhibition, feedback inhibition, and allosteric inhibition. This allosteric inhibition can be also discussed under regulation of the enzymes. So competitive, non-competitive, uncompetitive, suicide inhibition, feedback inhibition, and allosteric inhibition. These are the different types of the inhibition. And there is another type of inhibition, that is reversible inhibition and irreversible inhibition. So this can each can be reversible or irreversible depending upon the type of the inhibition. So reversible and irreversible, that is different classification, and this is competitive, non-competitive, uncompetitive, suicide inhibition, feedback inhibition, and allosteric inhibition. Under these headings we will discuss the enzyme inhibition. So first type is competitive inhibition. As the name suggests, competitive, that means there is a competition. So competition is between enzyme and competition between substrate and substrate analog, which is a inhibitor. So here it is a normal substrate and this is a competitive inhibitor. So this inhibitor has got structural similarity with the substrate. Substrate and inhibitor, they are structurally somewhat similar. So that is also called as substrate analog. And this is the enzyme and this is the active site of the enzyme. So this is a normal substrate and this is a substrate analog or inhibitor. So these two are somewhat structurally similar and they compete with each other for the active site of the enzyme. So if the substrate binds, then there will be a reaction proceed and product formation will be there. But if the inhibitor binds to enzyme at the active site, then enzyme inhibitor complex will be there but product formation will not be there. So this inhibitor, if it is present, then product formation is less. So this is the competitive inhibition. That means there is a competition between the substrate and inhibitor for the active site of the enzyme. So who will bind to this active site? That will depend upon the concentration of this substrate and the inhibitor. If concentration of substrate is more substrate will bind to enzyme. If concentration of inhibitor is more inhibitor will bind to enzyme. So if we increase the concentration of substrate, then this type of inhibition can be reversed. So if more amount of substrate is there, then more substrate will bind to enzyme. And if more inhibitor is there, then more inhibitor will bind to enzyme. So if the concentration of substrate is increased, this type of inhibition can be reversed. So this is the competitive inhibition. In this, enzyme combines with substrate to form enzyme substrate complex and there will be formation of enzyme and product. But if inhibitor combines with the enzyme, then enzyme inhibitor complex will be there and there will be no product formation. So relative concentration of substrate and inhibitor will determine the inhibition. So enzyme is not available for the substrate to bind if the inhibitor is there holding the active site. So this is the competitive inhibition. Sub, enzyme and inhibitor complex can react only to form enzyme and inhibitor. Product will not be formed. So number of enzyme molecules available for ES formation is reduced. Suppose 100 molecules of substrate and 100 molecules of inhibitor are competing for 100 molecules of enzyme. So half of the enzyme molecules are trapped by inhibitor and only half of the molecules are available for catalysis to form the product. Since effective concentration of enzyme is reduced, the reaction velocity is decreased. But Vmax is not decreased here because maximum velocity can be achieved if we increase the substrate concentration. So see, this is the reaction. Succinate is converted to fumarate. Enzyme is succinate dehydrogenase. And this succinate and this malonate, they are structurally similar to each other. and therefore malonate acts as inhibitor of this succinate dehydrogenase enzyme. So if malonate is present, then conversion of succinate to fumarate is decreased. So malonate inhibits succinate dehydrogenase enzyme. Similarly, malonic acid means malonate, glutaric acid and oxalic acid means glutarate and oxalate. They also have structural similarity with the succinic acid, and they compete with the substrate for binding at the active site of succinate dehydrogenase. So succinate dehydrogenase is the enzyme and inhibitors are malonate, glutarate, oxalate, and succinate is the substrate, and these three are the competitive inhibitors. In competitive inhibition, inhibitor will be structural analog of the substrate. Competitive inhibition is usually reversible, or excess substrate abolishes the inhibition. If we increase the substrate, this type of inhibition can be reversible. In case of competitive inhibition, Km is increased in presence of competitive inhibitor. Means to achieve the half maximum velocity, more amount of substrate is required because of the presence of inhibitor is there, and therefore Km is increased. But if we increase the substrate, then Vmax can be achieved. That means Vmax is not changed, but to achieve the Vmax, more amount of substrate is required. So Km is increased and Vmax is not changed. Vmax value is not changed. But for achieving the Vmax, substrate concentration required is more in presence of competitive inhibitor. So in competitive inhibition, Km is increased, Vmax is remains same. So see this graph here. This is the saturation curve, substrate saturation curve with inhibitor and without inhibitor. This is without inhibitor, and this is with competitive inhibitor. So with competitive inhibitor, Km is increased. So this is a new Km and this is initial Km. So Km is increased and Vmax is same. Vmax is not changed. And see in this Lineweaver-Burke plot, Km is increased with inhibitor. This came towards the 0. That means it is increased. This is the negative side. So when it comes towards 0, that means it is increased. So Km, it is 1 upon Km. So it should be decreased, but it is minus. Therefore, it is increased. So this minus 1 upon Km is coming towards the 0. That means Km is increased. And this is less, this is more. So with inhibitor, Km is increased and Vmax is same. Vmax remains same because half Vmax is same here, and here also half Vmax is same. So this Vmax is same and Km is increased with in presence of competitive inhibitor. Km is increased, Vmax remains same. Now we will see some examples of the competitive inhibitors which are used as drugs. There are many drugs which action of these drugs is based on the competitive inhibition of the enzymes. For example, take the example of allopurinol. It is a drug used in the treatment of gout, and this is a competitive inhibitor of enzyme xanthine oxidase. And by this xanthine oxidase, this hypoxanthine and xanthine is converted to uric acid. But this enzyme is inhibited by the drug allopurinol, and therefore uric acid for production is decreased, and therefore that is used in treatment of gout. So this is one example, allopurinol used in the treatment of gout, and enzyme inhibited is xanthine oxidase. Second example is dicumarol is the drug or inhibitor of enzyme vitamin K epoxide reductase. So it acts as anticoagulant. Then ethanol and methanol. So ethanol is a drug used in the methanol poisoning because methanol it is a bad alcohol, or it is mixed with alcohol. It is not beneficial to take this. It is a regular alcohol, ethanol, and methanol is a impurity is there in the ethanol. So if accidental consumption of methanol is there, then methanol is metabolized by alcohol dehydrogenase, and this alcohol dehydrogenase is inhibited by ethanol. Ethanol and methanol, they are structurally similar to each other, and therefore in methanol poisoning, ethanol is used as drug. Similarly, sulfonamide or sulfanilamide is the drug used as antibacterial drug because it is structural similar to PABA and it inhibits the enzyme steroid synthase. So PABA is required for the synthesis of folic acid in the bacteria. But as sulfanilamide is structurally similar to PABA, it inhibits this enzyme and therefore it decreases the folic acid synthesis in the bacteria. And folic acid is not available for the bacteria and therefore this drug acts as antibacterial drug. But for folic acid is not to be synthesized in humans. It is available in the diet. So sulfanilamide and PABA. PABA is structural similar to sulfanilamide or sulfanilamide is structural similar to PABA and therefore sulfanilamide will decrease the folic acid synthesis in the bacteria and therefore this sulfanilamide acts as an antibacterial drug. Then there are three drugs aminopterin, amitriptyline, methotrexate. These are dihydrofolate reductase enzyme inhibitors and they are similar to this dihydrofolic acid and they are used as anti-cancer drugs because they decrease the synthesis of the DNA and therefore they act as anti-cancer drugs. So they are required in the purine synthesis. Then 6-mercaptopurine, it is also required. It is a purine analog and it is also used as anti-cancer drug. So aminopterin, amitriptyline, methotrexate, 6-mercaptopurine, 5-fluorouracil, all these are anti-cancer drugs. This 5-fluorouracil is also purine analog, means it is similar in structure to purine and it inhibits the thymidylate synthetase enzyme and therefore decreases the synthesis of DNA and that is also used as anti-cancer drugs. So name the anti-cancer drugs of which the action is dependent on the inhibition of the enzymes. So these drugs are aminopterin, amitriptyline, methotrexate, 6-mercaptopurine and 5-fluorouracil. So these are the anti-cancer drugs of which action is dependent on the competitive inhibition of the enzymes. Then another example is drug is succinylcholine. Enzyme is acetylcholine esterase. And this enzyme acts on acetylcholine. Acetylcholine and succinylcholine, these are structurally similar to each other. So acetylcholine is not metabolized if succinylcholine is present. Otherwise, acetylcholine is metabolized by acetylcholine esterase. But if succinylcholine is present, it is not metabolized and therefore this succinylcholine acts as a muscle relaxant. So these are the various drugs: allopurinol, dicumarol, ethanol, sulfanilamide and succinylcholine. These are the drugs and this aminopterin, amitriptyline, methotrexate, 6-mercaptopurine and 5-fluorouracil. These are the anti-cancer drugs of which action is dependent on the competitive inhibition of the enzyme. There are certain other drugs also which are used as the drugs and they are competitive inhibitors of the enzymes. Examples are azathioprine used as anti-cancer drug, cytosine arabinoside also used as anti-cancer drugs, acyclovir used as antiviral drug, neostigmine used as muscle relaxant in myasthenia gravis. It is also inhibitor of acetylcholine esterase. Alpha methyl dopa is used in treatment of hypertension. It is an inhibitor of dopa decarboxylase. Lovastatin, pravastatin and atorvastatin, these are the HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors and these are used to lower the cholesterol level in the body. These are cholesterol lowering agents and they inhibit the enzyme HMG-CoA reductase. They are structurally similar to this HMG-CoA. Which drugs? Lovastatin, pravastatin and also atorvastatin. So these are cholesterol lowering drugs. Then ephedrine and amphetamine, these drugs are inhibitors of enzyme monoamine oxidase and they are used to increase the catecholamine levels in the body. And oseltamivir or Tamiflu that inhibits the enzyme neuraminidase and that is used in the treatment of influenza. So this is an antiviral drug. So these are the various drugs used as or these are the various competitive inhibitors of the enzymes which are used as the drugs. The next type of enzyme is in next type of enzyme inhibition is non-competitive inhibition, and this type of inhibition is irreversible. It is not reversible, it is irreversible. Competitive inhibition is reversible and non-competitive inhibition is irreversible. So non-competitive, that means there is no competition between substrate and inhibitor, because substrate and inhibitor, they are different in their structure. This is substrate, this is inhibitor. There is no competition between substrate and inhibitor because they are not structurally similar to each other, and substrate binds to different site and inhibitor binds to different site. Substrate binds to active site and inhibitor binds to different site other than active site to the enzyme. But as the inhibitor binds, the structure of enzyme is distorted, and therefore uh, product formation is not there. So even though substrate is bind to the enzyme, but if the inhibitor binds to this enzyme substrate complex, then no product will be formed. Enzyme is inactivated. So this is the non-competitive inhibitor. There is no competition between substrate and inhibitor. Inhibitor usually binds to a different domain on the enzyme other than substrate binding site. Since these inhibitors have no structural resemblance to the substrate, an increase in substrate concentration generally does not relieve this inhibition. Even if we increase the substrate concentration, as the inhibitor is bind to this enzyme, the structure of enzyme is distorted, and therefore even after increasing the substrate concentration, we cannot reverse this inhibition. So this type of inhibition is irreversible. Inhibitor does not interfere with enzyme substrate binding, but the catalysis is prevented because there is distortion in the enzyme conformation, and inhibitor binds with the enzyme as well as enzyme substrate complex. And here Km value is not changed, unchanged, Km remains same, but Vmax is lowered because maximum velocity cannot be achieved because of the presence of inhibitor. So inhibitor binds to enzyme, or it can bind to enzyme substrate complex to form enzyme inhibitor and substrate complex. So this is the non-competitive inhibition, and it is also called as enzyme poisons, or there are certain substances which inhibit the enzymes and they are called as enzyme poisons. For example, heavy metal ions, they can non-competitively inhibit the enzymes by binding with SH group of the enzymes and inactivates them. Heavy metals are the examples of non-competitive inhibitors. They bind with the SH group of the enzymes and inactivate them. So with non-competitive inhibition, Km remains same because the affinity of enzyme towards substrate is same, but Vmax is decreased because of the presence of inhibitor. Maximum velocity cannot be achieved because uh, due to binding of inhibitor with the substrate, binding of inhibitor with the enzyme conformation is changed or distorted, and therefore maximum velocity cannot be achieved, and therefore Vmax is decreased with this inhibitor, and Km remains same. So see here, Km remains same, but Vmax is decreased. This is the Vmax with inhibitor. So here it is 1 by Vmax, therefore it is coming upwards. So 1 by Vmax is increased. So Vmax is decreased. So Vmax is decreased in the non-competitive inhibition and Km remains same. Km value is not changed. Vmax is reduced. So we will see the examples of non-competitive inhibition, or that is also irreversible inhibition. Example is cyanide inhibits cytochrome oxidase, which is present in the electron transport chain. So this cyanide acts as a very this is very highly poisonous cyanide. Then fluoride inhibits the enzyme enolase. Enolase enzyme is required in the glycolysis. So fluoride inhibits enolase enzyme required for glycolysis, and therefore for glucose estimation, the blood sample is collected in the fluoride bulb to prevent the in vitro glycolysis. Then iodoacetate, it inhibits the SH group containing enzymes, for example, papain and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Then diisopropyl fluorophosphate, DFP, diisopropyl fluorophosphate. It is also called as nerve gas. It inhibits serine containing enzymes, for example, serine proteases and acetylcholine esterases. Then organophosphorus compounds like malathion also inhibits acetylcholine esterases. Acetylcholine esterase action is it hydrolyzes acetylcholine, but the diisopropyl fluorophosphate it inhibits the acetylcholine esterase and therefore it binds to the active site of this acetylcholine esterase and therefore this contains acetylcholinesterase contains serine at its active site. So serine protease, acetylcholinesterase is a serine protease, diisopropyl fluorophosphate as well as organophosphorus compounds like malathion. These two, they inhibit the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. So what is the action of acetylcholinesterase? It hydrolyzes the acetylcholine and into acetate and choline. But because of the inhibition of acetylcholinesterase, this acetylcholine accumulates and it overstimulates the autonomic nervous system and therefore uh, it overstimulates heart, blood vessels and glands, and this leads to vomiting, salivation, sweating, and it can in serious cases it can lead to death. So diisopropyl fluorophosphate or malathion, they form irreversible covalent bond with acetylcholinesterase and therefore this is the irreversible type of inhibition. Then disulfiram or antabuse is a drug. It is given in the treatment of alcoholism. It inhibits the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase and antabuse or disulfiram. It is a drug. It inhibits aldehyde dehydrogenase. Because this aldehyde dehydrogenase enzyme is used in the metabolism of alcohol. Alcohol is first converted into alcohol is metabolized by two enzymes. It is first acted by alcohol dehydrogenase to give acetaldehyde, and the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase converts acetaldehyde into acetic acid. But here, as aldehyde dehydrogenase is inhibited, there is accumulation of acetaldehyde, and this accumulation of acetaldehyde makes the person sick, and therefore person avoids the alcohol or does not take the alcohol. Therefore, this drug disulfiram is used in the treatment of alcoholism and it inhibits which enzyme? Aldehyde dehydrogenase. So there is accumulation of acetaldehyde which makes the person sick and therefore person do not take alcohol. Then heavy metals inhibit the SH group containing enzymes. Therefore, this BAL or BAL or dimercaprol is used as antidote for heavy metal poisoning. What is this BAL or dimercaprol? It contains several SH groups with which the heavy metal ions react and thereby their poisonous effects are reduced. Otherwise, heavy metals, what heavy metals do? They react with the SH group of the enzymes. They want SH groups, but this BAL has several SH group and therefore heavy metals combine with the SH group of this BAL, British anti-levisite or dimercaprol, and therefore it removes the heavy metal. So BAL or dimercaprol is used as antidote for heavy metal poisoning. So these are the examples of the non-competitive inhibition or irreversible inhibition. So same is shown here. Enzyme is permanently inactive in irreversible inhibition and non-competitive inhibition is usually irreversible inhibition. Inhibitor binds at or near the active site of the enzyme irreversibly, usually by covalent bonds. and so that it can't subsequently dissociate from the enzyme, and therefore this destroys the functional group on the enzyme, and therefore this type of enzyme inhibition is irreversible. It forms covalent bonds with the enzyme. Inhibitor binds to the enzyme by covalent bonds. So just now we have seen the examples diisopropyl fluorophosphate and now gas developed by Germans during the Second World War. It irreversibly binds with the enzymes containing serine at the active site, for example, serine proteases and acetylcholine esterases. And iodoacetate, it is the inhibitor of enzymes like papain and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. So these are the examples of non-competitive inhibition or irreversible inhibition. These inhibitors are toxic poisonous substances. So see, this is the diisopropyl fluorophosphate. It is a now poison. It inactivates the acetylcholine esterases that plays an important role in the transmission of nerve impulses. Disulfiram or antabuse is a drug used in treatment of alcoholism. It irreversibly inhibits the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase. Alcohol addicts, when treated with disulfiram, become sick due to the accumulation of acetaldehyde, leading to alcohol avoidance. So now we will discuss about the differences between the competitive inhibition and non-competitive inhibition. So here in competitive inhibition, inhibitor acts at the active site. Here it is usually acting at a different site. Then inhibitor is structurally similar to the substrate in competitive inhibition. Here it is not structurally similar, it is unrelated molecule. Competitive inhibition is usually reversible and non-competitive is usually irreversible. If we add excess substrate, competitive inhibition can be relieved or reversed. But even after adding excess substrate, non-competitive inhibition cannot be reversed. And Km is increased in competitive inhibition. In non-competitive, there is no change in the Km. Vmax, no change in competitive inhibition, but in non-competitive it is decreased. And competitive inhibition, majority of the drugs are based on the action. Majority of the drugs, the action is based on competitive inhibition of the enzymes. And this non-competitive inhibition is usually toxicological or poisonous. Now next type of inhibition is uncompetitive inhibition. It is not non-competitive. It is not non-competitive inhibition. It is uncompetitive inhibition. So what is difference here? Here inhibitor does not have any affinity for free enzyme. It does not bind to free enzyme. It binds to enzyme substrate complex. Inhibitor binds to not to free enzyme. It binds to enzyme substrate complex, but not to the free enzyme. So in this is the graph for enzyme uncompetitive inhibitor. So without inhibitor and with inhibitor. So here both Vmax and Km, they are decreased. See this V1 by V is increased. That means Vmax is decreased and Km is far from 0 on the negative side. So this Km is also decreased. 1 by Km minus 1 by Km is far from the 0 on the negative side. So therefore it is decreased. So in uncompetitive inhibition, both Vmax and Km are decreased. So it is not common type of inhibition. Inhibition example is inhibition of placental alkaline phosphatase by phenylalanine is an example of uncompetitive inhibition. So an inhibitor binds to enzyme substrate complex. So that is the one type of inhibition, that is uncompetitive inhibition, in which both are decreased, Vmax as well as Km. Now next is suicide inhibition. It is also known as mechanism based inactivation. Suicide inhibition means the inhibitor makes the use of enzyme's own reactions mechanism to inactivate it. That means enzyme undergoes the suicide. Enzyme converts this inhibitor into more active inhibitor or more strong or effective inhibitor. The enzyme which is to be inhibited it itself converts the inhibitor into more potent or more active inhibitor. That means this enzyme, it carries out its own suicide. So therefore it is called as suicide inhibition. The inhibitor makes the use of enzyme's own reaction mechanism to inactivate it. In suicide inhibition, structural analog is converted to more effective inhibitor with the help of enzyme to be inhibited. This enzyme is to be inhibited, but that enzyme itself converts the inhibitor into more strong inhibitor. And therefore, this type of inhibition is called as suicide inhibition. So there are two common examples. One of that is allopurinol is more common. Allopurinol is oxidized by xanthine oxidase to alloxanthine. Xanthine oxidase is the enzyme and allopurinol is the inhibitor of the xanthine oxidase enzyme. But what does xanthine oxidase do? Xanthine oxidase converts allopurinol into alloxanthine. Alloxanthine is more potent inhibitor of this xanthine oxidase. Therefore, this allopurinol is used in treatment of gout. So xanthine oxidase is enzyme, but it converts inhibitor into more potent inhibitor. Inhibitor is allopurinol and it more potent inhibitor is alloxanthine. So it itself carries out its own suicide. Therefore, it is called as suicide inhibition. Then another example is enzyme is ornithine decarboxylase. It catalyzes the conversion of ornithine to putrescine, which is necessary for polyamine synthesis. When ornithine decarboxylase in trypanosoma is inhibited by multiplication of the parasite is arrested. Therefore, in ODC inhibitors, ODC means ornithine decarboxylase inhibitors, are used in the treatment of trypanosomiasis or sleeping sickness. DFMO, that is difluoromethylornithine. Difluoromethylornithine is the drug which is used in the treatment of trypanosomiasis, and this inhibits the enzyme ornithine decarboxylase. So this is also example of suicide inhibition. And another example cited is aspirin. Aspirin is also based on suicide inhibition. So most common example you remember of allopurinol, and second you can remember of DFMO, that is difluoromethylornithine, which is a ornithine decarboxylase inhibitor and used in the treatment of trypanosomiasis, that is sleeping sickness. Now next is feedback inhibition. The term feedback inhibition means that the activity of enzyme is inhibited by the product of the reaction. For example, inhibition of hexokinase by glucose 6 phosphatase, so glucose 6 phosphate. So see this reaction, glucose plus ATP, it will form glucose 6 phosphate and ADP, and enzyme for this is hexokinase. So glucose 6 phosphate inhibits hexokinase enzyme. That means the product of this reaction will inhibiting the enzyme of this reaction. So that is the feedback inhibition or end product. And next is end product inhibition or product inhibition or feedback inhibition. So next example is carbamyl phosphate plus aspartate. By the action of aspartate transcarbamylase, it will form carbamyl aspartate and inorganic phosphate is separated. The CTP or the reaction end product of this reaction is CTP. CTP will inhibit the aspartate transcarbamylase allosterically. So what is allosteric inhibition, that we will see later on. So end product inhibition is usually allosteric inhibition. One of the example is CTP inhibiting aspartate transcarbamylase. Another example is ALA, that is in the synthesis of hemoglobin or in the synthesis of heme. First reaction is succinyl CoA plus glycine. It combines to form delta ALA, that is delta amino levulinic acid. And enzyme required is ALA synthase. This ALA synthase enzyme is inhibited by the end product heme. Heme inhibiting ALA synthase, CTP inhibiting aspartate transcarbamylase. These are the examples of end product inhibition or feedback inhibition, or it is also called as the mechanism behind this is allosteric inhibition. So what is that? That we will see later on. So this is the feedback inhibition. The process of inhibiting the first step by the final product in a series of enzyme catalyzed reactions of a metabolic pathway is called as feedback inhibition or feedback regulation. A2 converted to B converted to C converted to D, and D inhibits conversion of A into B. So final product is D, and it inhibits this first step, A to B conversion is inhibited by this D. So this is called as end product inhibition or feedback inhibition. It is also called as negative feedback regulation. So same example here, CTP will inhibit this aspartate transcarbamylase. CTP is the end product. First reaction is carbamyl phosphate plus aspartate to form carbamyl aspartate, and enzyme is aspartate transcarbamylase. This is the first step, and this is the last end product form, CTP. And CTP will inhibit this aspartate transcarbamylase. Now next is allosteric inhibition. Allosteric inhibition, it is also called as allosteric regulation. So here inhibitor is not a structurally similar to substrate. It is not a substrate analog, and this inhibition is partially reversible when excess substrate is added. Km is usually increased, Vmax is reduced. The effect of allosteric modifier is maximum at or near substrate concentration equal to Km. Most of the allosteric enzymes possesses quaternary structure. That means they are made up of subunits. Aspartate transcarbamylase, that is the example of allosteric enzyme. It has 6 subunits, and pyruvate kinase, it has 4 subunits. So these two are the examples of allosteric enzymes, aspartate transcarbamylase and pyruvate kinase. So allosteric, allo means other and steric means in the space. So allosteric enzyme has one catalytic site where substrate binds and another separate allosteric site where the modifier binds. Allo means other. So allosteric regulation, there can be inhibitor as well as activator. Allo means other. Allosteric and substrate binding sites may or may not be physically adjacent. See, this is the enzyme and this is the active site where the substrate binds, and this is the allosteric site where the activator binds. It may be either activator or it may be inhibitor. Allosteric means it binds to the enzyme at the different site or other site. Allo means other. Allosteric site and substrate binding site may or may not be physically adjacent. The binding of the regulatory molecule can either enhance the activity of the enzyme, that is called as allosteric activation, or it can inhibit the activity of the enzymes. For example, that is called as allosteric inhibition. So this allosteric is not always inhibition. It can be activator or it can be inhibitor. It binds to this different site and it can activate this enzyme, then that is allosteric activator. It can inhibit this enzyme, then that is allosteric inhibitor. The binding of the substrate to one of the subunits of the enzyme may enhance the substrate binding by the other subunits. So allosteric enzymes, they are made up of different units. So binding of substrate to one subunit of the enzyme increase the bindings of the substrate by other subunits. Same thing is said here. Allosteric effectors, that can be activator as well as that can be inhibitor. The binding of regulatory molecule can either enhance the activity of enzyme or that can inhibit the activity of the enzyme. The binding of substrate to one of the subunits may enhance substrate binding by other subunits. Then that effect is called as positive cooperativity. And if binding of substrate to one of the subunits decreases the substrate binding by other subunits, then that effect is called as negative cooperativity. In most cases, combination is observed. Therefore, that results in sigmoid shaped curve. Positive cooperativity or there can be negative cooperativity. Binding of the substrate to one of the subunits increases the binding of the substrate to other subunits, then that is positive cooperativity. And if substrate it binds to one of the subunits, but it decreases the binding of the other, it decreases the substrate bindings to other sites, then that is negative cooperativity. And there can be both present, positive as well as negative cooperativity, and that results in sigmoid shaped curve. So this is allosteric inhibition. Enzyme has separate catalytic site and separate allosteric site. When activator binds, then substrate can bind to this enzyme, and that is a allosteric activator. But if inhibitor binds, then this substrate cannot bind, and that is allosteric inhibitor. So this is active site and this is allosteric site. Allosteric means other site. So this is an inhibitor. When inhibitor fits, substrate cannot fit into the active site. So this is the allosteric inhibitor. One site, this is the site where substrate can bind. But when this inhibitor is bind, it changes the structure of this enzyme, and therefore now substrate cannot bind. So this enzyme is switched off for the substrate. So this is the allosteric inhibitor. Inhibitor is not a substrate analog. It is partially reversible when excess substrate is added. Here Km is increased and Vmax is reduced. So both are there in opposite direction. Km increased, Vmax reduced. The effect of allosteric modifier is maximum at or near substrate concentration equal to Km. So this is the sigmoid type of curve obtained in allosteric inhibition. If negative modifier is there, this type of curve is obtained. If positive modifier is there, this type of curve is obtained. But both of them are present there in the allosteric inhibition or allosteric regulation, and therefore the sigmoid type of curve is obtained in the allosteric inhibition. So here Km is increased and Vmax is decreased. So there are two types of allosteric enzymes, K class and V class. In K class of enzymes, allosteric inhibitor increases Km and not Vmax. And double reciprocal plot will be similar to competitive inhibition. And V class of enzymes, allosteric inhibitor decreases Vmax and not Km. So here it will be just like non-competitive inhibition. Double reciprocal plot will be just like non-competitive inhibition. Now these are the examples of allosteric enzymes. ALA synthase, allosteric inhibitor is heme. Aspartate transcarbamylase, allosteric inhibitor is CTP, activator is ATP. HMG-CoA reductase, inhibitor is cholesterol. Phosphofructokinase, ATP in citrate as inhibitor. AMP, fructose 2,6-phosphate is activator. Pyruvate carboxylase, ADP is inhibitor. Acetyl-CoA is activator. Acetyl-CoA carboxylase, acyl-CoA is inhibitor. Citrate is activator. Citrate synthase ATP inhibitor. Carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1 N-acetyl glutamate is inhibitor, and carbamyl phosphate synthase 2 UTP is inhibitor. So these are the examples of allosteric enzymes. And activator and inhibitors. Now next part is regulation of enzyme activity, allosteric regulation, activation of latent enzymes, covalent modification, compartmentation of metabolic pathways, control of enzyme synthesis, enzyme degradation and isoenzymes. So these are the points under which we can discuss the regulation of enzyme activity. Allosteric regulation already we have discussed. Then next is activation of latent enzymes. So some enzymes are synthesized in the body as their inactive form, that is proenzymes or zymogen form, and then they undergo irreversible covalent activation by breakdown of one or more peptide bonds. Example is chymotrypsinogen is converted to chymotrypsin. Pepsinogen is converted to pepsin. Plasminogen to plasmin. So these are the latent enzymes and they are activated into their active forms. Chymotrypsinogen to chymotrypsin. Pepsinogen to pepsin, like that. So this this is called as activation of latent enzymes. That means they are not uh, synthesized. They are synthesized only when their requirement of that enzymes is there. For example, digestive enzymes, they are present in the form of proenzyme or zymogen form. Then there is also reversible covalent modification, that is phosphorylation and dephosphorylation, or oxidation and reduction of disulfide bonds. So the interconversion of enzymes is brought by phosphorylation and dephosphorylation, or oxidation and reduction of disulfide bonds. Now next is covalent modification. The Zymogen activation we have seen. Next is covalent modification, that means phosphorylation of the enzyme. Commonest type of covalent modification is reversible protein phosphorylation. Phosphate group may be attached to serine, threonine or tyrosine residues. See the example of this glycogen synthase. Glycogen synthase, if it is phosphorylated, then it becomes inactive. And glycogen phosphorylase, if it is phosphorylated, it becomes active. Glycogen synthase enzyme is required for synthesis of glycogen. And if it is phosphorylated, it is inactive. And at the same time, glycogen phosphorylase will be active when it is phosphorylated. That means glycogenolysis will occur and glycogen synthesis will not occur. So this is called as covalent modification by phosphorylation and dephosphorylation. So glycogen synthase, if it is phosphorylated, then that is inactive, and if it is dephosphorylated, that is active. So similarly, acetyl-CoA carboxylates, it is inactive in phosphorylated form. Pyruvate dehydrogenase is inactive in phosphorylated form. HMG-CoA reductase is inactive. Pyruvate kinase is inactive. And this glycogen phosphorylase, citrate lyase, HMG-CoA reductase kinase, these are active in the phosphorylated form. So reversible phosphorylation and dephosphorylation will regulate the enzyme activity. Glycogen synthase, it is inactive when phosphorylated. A few enzymes are active only with SH groups, succinate dehydrogenase, urease. Now next is compartmentalization. Generally, synthetic and breakdown pathways are operative in different cellular organelles. For example, fatty acid synthesis is found in cytosol and fatty acid oxidation is present in the mitochondria. That is called as compartmentalization. So fatty acid synthesis and fatty acid oxidation, they are not taking place at the same time. Either oxidation taking place or synthesis taking place. Synthesis is in the cytosol and oxidation is in the mitochondria. That is called as compartmentalization. Then control of enzyme synthesis. There are two types of enzymes, constitutive enzymes and adaptive enzymes. Constitutive enzymes, these are housekeeping enzymes, the levels of which are not controlled and they remain fairly constant. Adaptive enzymes, their concentration increase or decrease as per the body needs and they are well regulated. Synthesis of enzymes is regulated by the genes. So induction and repression. Induction means increase synthesis of the enzyme and repression means decrease synthesis of the enzyme. Induction means increase synthesis and repression means decrease synthesis. So induction is de-repression and repression is increase repression is decrease synthesis and de-repression is increase synthesis. The hormone insulin induces synthesis of these enzymes. So what is induction? Induction means it induces the or increases the synthesis of the enzymes. Induction means increase synthesis, and repression means decrease synthesis, and that is at the gene level. Examples of repression: pyruvate carboxylase is the enzyme in the gluconeogenesis, and that is, if sufficient glucose is available, then this enzyme is repressed. So repression of pyruvate carboxylase by the glucose. Induction is also called as derepression because inducer will relieve the repression on the operator site and will remove the block on the biosynthesis of enzyme molecules. Classical example is induction of lactose utilizing enzymes in the bacteria when media contains lactose in the absence of glucose. If lactose is present in the medium, then lactose utilizing enzymes are induced. So this is the repression. Repressor acts at the gene level. Effect is noticeable only after a lag period of hours or days, and the number of enzyme molecules is reduced in the presence of repressor molecule. So this repressor molecule joins to operator site and prevents this transcription of the this translation of the genes. So protein synthesis or enzyme synthesis is decreased. So this is the mechanism of repression. The repressor molecule joins to operator site and prevents the formation of the enzymes from the structural genes. So that is the repression, and induction means derepression. So these are the various mechanisms. Last one is enzyme degradation. The key and regulatory enzymes are most rapidly degraded, and if not needed, they immediately disappear, and when required, they are again quickly synthesized. So this half life is given, and these enzymes, they are degraded, and when again required, they are again synthesized. Then isoenzymes is also regulatory. Isoenzymes, presence of isoenzymes is also one of the regulatory mechanism of the enzymes. Isoenzymes means multiple form of the same enzyme. They are tissue specific. They are differ in their Km values and Vmax values, but they catalyze the same chemical reaction. So this is also one of the way of regulation of enzyme activity. Thank you.